Hello, welcome to Convict Inc. I'm your host, Robert Rosso. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. Bobby Manna, underboss of the, New Jersey faction of the Genovese family. Is that the proper way to say it? I'm not even really sure. Went down on a RICO charge. I was at Leavenworth with him. Apparently he was trying to have, involved in a hit, trying to have John Gotti whacked. And it didn't work out too well. In fact, the feds tipped Gotti off over it. Imagine that. Why would the feds ever tip John Gotti? Anyway. He wasn't given information, I'm sure. But anyway, here's the deal. So this is about Bobby Manna. However, this goes into a bigger picture about the mafia, some guys in the mafia, and dudes from DC. So this is all gets meshed into one. So here's what goes down. A good friend of mine, whose name I shall not mention, who was a high-ranking member in a Crip, in a huge gang, okay, who doesn't like to be in the limelight, doesn't want to be talked about and everything else. I was at Leavenworth with him, and he used to run one of the black TV rooms, specifically in the one in Beat Lower, up on the second tier, which perched out over the even side of the unit. So from that TV room, especially where he sat, he has a straight shot to at least the middle of the unit, which is like length of a football field. So here's what goes down. One day he's in the TV room and he's watching TV, also watching the block. It's just the way his TV chair was set up. And here comes two dudes from DC, some young dudes from DC, who he referred to as DC dope fiends, okay? So now, this guy is African-American, my friend, by the way. Spent a lot of time in the feds, had a life sentence and got out as well. So what had happened in around 2000, 2001, as I talked about, they sent like 400 dudes from the District of Columbia to Leavenworth at one time. They rolled them out of Lorton, most of them, and sent them to Leavenworth and elsewhere, okay? So they end up at Leavenworth, and there was accusations by the warden, by everybody, that the DC dudes were going to come in and do a bunch of bad stuff. Rape, rob, pillage, whatever, okay? A lot of that was overblown. However, in every group, you got some bad actors, right? So these two dudes from DC who lived upstairs and be upper, let's just call them bad actors and not be disrespectful, instead of saying dope fiends, okay? The bad actors. They were on a mission to steal, and specifically what had happened was they walked into B Lower, casing out the joint, pretending that they were looking for one of their DC homeboys cell. So I believe it was a Crip who they were looking in the cell. The dude said, "Hey man, that's not a DC cell, it's an Italian cell." Bing! And there it is. Unfortunately, it happened to be the cell of Bobby Manna. Now, let me back up. Why did I say Bing when they said Italian cells? People on this channel have often asked me about mob guys in prison. I have spoke the truth about it. I point out the ones that I've known that have been good, and the stereotypes and some of the things that other prisoners, if you watch other channels, they say the same thing I do. A lot of the mob guys were targets. So when these two dudes from DC found out that it was an Italian cell, not a white cell, huge difference, by the way. They were go-go gadget. So what they did was they went in the cell. There was a radio on the table. Unfortunately, the radio was taken from Bobby Manna's cell, but it actually belonged to a guy out of Kansas City by the name of Junior Bradley. Great guy, by the way. Big fence out of Kansas City back in the day. So my friend, meanwhile, is up there watching all of this, okay? Now, actually, I don't know if he saw him going. Yeah, he did see him go in the cell. Yes. Okay, I'm trying to get the story right. So here's what goes down. I'm in Leavenworth at this time, by the way. So my friend used to play chess with a dude from DC by the name of Tone. Shout out Tone. Tone was a younger DC dude. Used to beat the shit out of my friend playing chess all the time, and real respected within the prison. Okay, you know what? I will say that he had DC on the down low. He had DC for he had DC pretty much locked up, okay? For sure in that unit, but he was really up there as far as the DC guys go. And there's a bunch of different groups of DC guys, so I need to clarify that always. So they go peel Bobby Manna's radio, and they bail out. Now my friend, he's not one to go talk to people, make a big scene. He went to the source, which was Tone, and said, "Hey man, your homeboys came down here and just took dude's radio out of his cell." Explain the situation. So Tone, unbeknownst to any of the Italians or anything, was on it. On top of this was already being handled. But then here comes Bobby Manna. My friend watches as some of the Italian guys go back and forth about the stealing of the radio. The Italians go from one cell to this next cell. There comes Johnny Moose, I think it was, telling my friend that what had happened. And my friend said, "Chill, we got this." So he did. And Tone actually went this dude from DC, Antonio Tone, and went and took care of it, went up there. I don't know if those dudes got violated. I don't know anything about it. What I do know is he told those dudes to stay out of belower, the two dudes that did the stealing. Now, here's more of the mob stuff I talked about, and this issue came up. So my friend goes and gets the radio, right? And they're trying to pay him. He's good. Again, this is a prison radio, like just imagine a Sony Walkman. There's probably actually one of those yellow banana radios, Sony radios back in the days. Those were like the big radios, the good radios at that time. Or it could have been a boombox actually. So I don't know, because they had baby boomboxes for a while. But what happens after that is, actually, I think it started a little bit before. The mob guys in the block knew that the guy I'm speaking about had huge juice, okay? A control over certain people in the prison, for sure, okay? So what they did, what a lot of those and I'm talking, I'm not gonna name them here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off the top of my head. In B lower alone. Broke him off commissary every single month. This guy got the radio that was probably a $30, $40, probably maybe $50 radio back then. From till he left. I think he stayed there. I think he left in 2, but he was there for like 6 years. They blessed him. What it really was, let me tell you what it was protection on the down low, okay? So there's another part of that story that I bring up, and this is how things happen. Of course, those mob guys had money. The ones that I can name every one of them right now that broke off. I like them, and I'm not going to do that to them, okay? If I didn't like them, no. I shouldn't say that, because I like to, it's not necessary for the story. It's just not necessary. Maybe one day it'll come up. You know what? Let me go back and recant on my statement that I just said. I reserve the right at any time to say anything about anybody that I want. Okay? So let me put that out there. But this is much like what I said about also Jojo Russo, who was a friend of mine, who tried to give me money and stuff and send me money to be a part of basically his goon squad or his protection squad. Some guys think that's a bad thing. Some guys think it's a good thing, whatever. It's a matter of fact thing. So in relation to that, and Jojo did have 3 goons that he sent $300 commissary to every month, all had brand new shoes, all had brand new everything, and Jojo made to it. And they basically started a little BS ticket, but really it was just to have Jojo had a little protection crew, you know? So going back to Leavenworth with this issue, these Italian guys, they got the right guy. They knew they knew that this guy was the guy in the prison to do this to, and he didn't ask for it. He did not take it. But it was so they had him in their pocket. Smart move, okay, for sure. And really, again, if you have the money and you can, like John Gotti bought a prison gang, they're in brotherhood, or they extorted him, or he bought a prison, whatever. Apples, oranges. Bottom line is there's money coming and going into the pockets of the other people from the Italian guys. Again, not always. And I will be doing, every time I say it, something happens and storming down here. I'm going to be talking about Steve Correa at probably my next, I'm thinking about doing it during a live. Yeah, I will get into that. And possibly tonight, possibly in an hour, possibly in a few minutes. Just depends. Anyway, take care. You'll see me live very, very soon. And thanks for watching and supporting the channel. Bye.